Hello and welcome to the One Life Church devotional series where we cover the entire Bible in 20 months. Well, today's chapters are Numbers 33 and Matthew 24. Both those chapters are about a journey and warnings on those journeys. The first journey is the children of Israel just before they come into the promised land, and the second journey is the church, the journey of the church pressing toward the very end day. And there are going to be two big events on that journey of the church. One is the destruction of Jerusalem, and the second is the second coming of Jesus. So I'm at Cape Town. I've made it down here on this epic journey. It's taken me 4 days, and I'm at Sea Point. Behind me you can see a red and white striped lighthouse, and the light is flashing. It's warning ships as they come into the bay. And you know, both these chapters, there is a somber warning on the journey. So in Numbers 33, what we have is the children of Israel on the plains of Moab just before they cross the Jordan River, and Moses says, I've got a warning for you. When you go in and you take your inheritance, be sure not to become idolatrous. Be sure not to just morph into the community with the rest of the people. Destroy the people before you, because their gods will become a snare to you. They will become a snare to you. I suppose the challenge when I read that warning is that who have I let really close into my heart? Who are the people that shape who I've become and who I am becoming? Because that's very important. But Matthew 24 is the text that I want to look at today. When Jesus was walking by, the disciples brought his attention to the temple, and then Jesus said, you know that building there? Not one stone is going to lay on another. And the disciples drew him aside in verse 3 and said, when is this going to happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age? Now, most people have, when they interpret this, they just use it as one event. The destruction of the temple, his second coming, the end of the age, all going to be at one event. But they're asking three separate things. When is the temple going to be destroyed? When are you coming again? And when will the end of the age be? And so, you know, in hindsight, we can look back and we can see, with the help of history, when Jerusalem was destroyed. So the first 35 verses covered that destruction, because in AD 70, a Roman ruler sent his son Titus to Jerusalem. He besieged it. More than 1 million people were killed. It was terrible. The Christians, when they heard the Romans were coming, fled to the hills, just like Jesus described. You know, for more than 1 million people to die, that has got to be hectic. The Romans came and desecrated the temple. The abomination that causes desolation was in the temple. So the stuff that was described in the first 36 verses in this chapter, read it that way now when you read it today in your devotion, not just as one event, because the destruction of Jerusalem has happened, the temple has happened. But then he turns to the final question, after having said, this generation will not pass away until that has happened. So in other words, the people he's talking to saying, listen, Jerusalem will be destroyed, and then this generation will pass away. But then, verse 36, he starts to talk about his second coming. And he says this, but about the hour and the day no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it'll be at the coming of the Son of Man. And so he's basically saying that we could probably predict when Jerusalem will be destroyed, but the coming of Jesus, no one's going to be able to predict that. No one's going to be able to predict that. It's going to be, not even the angels know. The Son of Man doesn't know. Nobody can predict that. It's going to come like a thief in the night. And then he describes, verse 41, what will happen. There'll be two people at a workstation. One will disappear. There'll be two women grinding corn. One will disappear. So he's not saying that there's going to be a rapture, then a long spate of time in the coming of Jesus. No, he's basically saying at the coming of Jesus, Christians are going to be wrapped home. Now, what does he say? He says two things to us, living with this great knowledge. All of us Christians live with this knowledge. Jesus is returning again, not as a baby in a manger, but as a mighty king, to be faithful and to be ready. As you read these chapters, God bless you.